All right, so I'm here with Tom Hollings, who's from Boronia Park Public School. He's a dad of that school and also a Dad's Group leader. So thanks for being here, Tom, tonight, just to talk about the Dad's Group and just let others learn from your experience over the many years as you're going to.
Thanks, John.
Um, so yeah, thank you. How long have you guys been operating? Tell us a little bit about the history of the Dad's Group.
Yeah, well, I've got my oldest child's in year eight, and I joined the Dad's Group in kindergarten. So it's been going for quite some time. I took over the running of the Dad's Group probably about 6 or 7 years ago,
Yep.
when the founders of the Dad's Group were moving on, and at that time we had between 5 and 10 people turning up once a quarter at the local bowling club to just sit and have a chat and have a drink.
Yeah.
And so after a few years of doing that and building up the numbers, I then started more aggressively targeting the dads to try and build our numbers, and then came on board with the Fathering Project a couple of years ago because I felt it was kind of closely aligned with what we were looking to do.
Yeah, fantastic. Because it's great that you've been going that long. But yeah, as far as the Fathering Project in New South Wales, where you are, we're about 3 years into our presence and our role there. So yeah, what was that like, and what were you attracted to by the Fathering Project?
Well, I was looking to do something more with the dads than just social events. My wife's a speech pathologist and she deals with kids literacy. And so I was going to pull her along to the dads events to talk to the dads about how important it is to start reading to their kids. And then I was looking in the paper and I came across an article about the Fathering Project, and I thought that these guys would probably be very much aligned with what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So we came on board, and I think we paid the money for the sponsorship, and started up, kind of very, I guess, very small and very low key. But gradually I built more of the involvement in the Fathering Project and the messaging of the Fathering Project in what we're trying to do, in communicating with our father figures and dads.
That's fantastic. Something we get asked, especially from new dads that are coming in as far as leaders, often is about how do you actually get the content across? What's the best way to deliver even dads only events, and how do you raise those sorts of things? And this is something we want to keep going with, providing great resources for dads groups. How have you found it, Tom? And what sort of things have worked for you and things that others could learn from?
Yeah, I think again, nothing too formal has worked really well for us.
Mm.
So if I think about, kind of when I spoke to David Forrest, we've been talking for a little while.
Yep.
One of the important things David said is keep the content short. And so he came and gave a presentation, and it was about 5 minute discussion. And so
Yeah.
at our dads events, we try and have, kind of, I'll take 5 or 10 minutes absolute maximum.
Yep.
And I'll talk to the Fathering Project and say, look, can you give me 1 point? And I think now you guys have got handouts, which makes that a lot easier. And so we've talked about the BUS principle, right? And just reinforcing some really basic stuff. It's short, it's sharp, it's just a point of discussion, and then people are back to barefoot bowls or doing the activity. But it's just to try and promote that little bit of thinking in with the activity. But the primary activity is just to get dads to form relationships with other dads at school, so they know a face in the playground or a face down at the shops. That's the main reason why I do it.
That's good, and that's what we see with principals as well. They really want to see that school is a comfortable place for dads. So it's been a great mechanism for that as well.
Yeah, and look, through the involvement of that, like our P&C has been run pretty much by dads for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
So we have had a mix of people involved, but the last 2 or 3 presidents have been fathers of the school,
Yep.
and the last 3 treasurers have been fathers of the school. So
That is
quite
fantastic.
heavily weighted in, with people who've been involved in some of the stuff that we've done.
Yeah, that's it. So it really is giving that comfort and that, again, that vehicle to get into the school and feel comfortable there. That's
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
yeah. Can I ask actually, what are some of the topics that you've seen in content wise when you discuss them that dads really thrive on or love? What sort of things are really relevant to the dads out there?
I think for me, it's different things at different age groups. So when you speak to the kindy dads who've never been through it,
Yes.
then a lot of the time they're speaking to you about what your experiences are. And so, the types of things that we try and talk to them about is just read with your kids. If you're going to do one thing, kind of it's read with your kids.
Yeah.
I think some of the other messaging, that we kind of, that we've kind of talked about, or I kind of share with our, with my friends is around our ages, when your kids get a little bit older, year 5 and year 6,
Yeah.
then it's just important that you do stuff with them.
Yeah. Nice.
So whether it's cooking dinner or whether it's, you know what it's like. Your life's busy. Your kid
Yeah.
goes, "Can I kick your footy around?" And you go, "Oh, mate, I'm just, I'm flat out." And you got to think, "No, I got to go and kick that footy around for 20 minutes."
Yeah.
And that way, we've shared that time together. So I think it's about sharing time around stuff that they want to do, not what you want to do.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But they're kind of, and then, everyone's got the same concerns about, oh, my kid's got too much screen time or, all these other issues, but the main thing is about just spending time with them doing stuff.
Yeah, just building a relationship. That's pretty powerful. What dads and kids events have you done that are great? Do you also give maybe to other dads group leaders to zero in on and think, yeah, that's a winner. Let's go with something like that. I mean,
yeah. So we haven't had that many dads and kids events. We have had 2 camps though, where we had a whole weekend of doing stuff, right?
wow.
And so we had on our first camp, we had 27 dads come away, which was awesome. And we went to a place that had no screen time, no screen coverage, no phone coverage whatsoever. It was really good. And the activity that we did with that was really good. It was the one where the kids you construct obstacle courses, and then your kid has to lead you around blindfolded around the obstacle course, and you try and not get poles in places that poles hurt. But it's about the voice of father and the voice of leading. And that activity was really powerful for both our kids. Thought it was a really laugh, but it was a real powerful activity for our dads. So probably of all of the ones we've done, that's the one that's most resonated. But we're planning on. I've heard rave reviews about the pizza and paper planes. So I've got to chat to the school principal and lock one of them in for the last week of term, because that's looking like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, they are good. And again, similar to what you've done, it's a simplicity of that. And often we'll say to new dads groups, that's a great start. Start with it because it's very simple. If it's a ream of paper and a few obstacles and things that you want to create, but the buzz that comes, I just actually finished one up here in Brisbane in Macleay Island this afternoon, and pizza and paper planes, and it brings dads in, and they can get a bit of a look at what this is all about, with a great experience for the kids. And
I think something that's relatively short and sharp is good as well. You don't want to have something that goes for too long, because you want people to be able to drop in and hang for an hour and then leave when they feel comfortable, rather than having an all day thing or a half a day thing, which is kind of hard to do. So I think that definitely hits the mark for me on an introduction.
Yeah, it's good. It's true. And we often say hour and a half for that sort of event is plenty, including food, and it keeps it while it's high. Everyone's had a great time. Leave, everyone has a great experience and wants to come back. That's really good.
Yep.
What sort of things have you got planned for the year?
So we're just we've actually transitioned. So our P&C used to run the fathering project, but now we're transitioning to the school running it. Yep. So it's a bit of a new thing for me to run through. So I've now got 2 in-school coordinators who volunteered to help do the launch of the fathering project, I guess, more with the staff. And so that gives us an opportunity to actually start talking about, kind of more education of kids with the teachers, as well as building the fathers community. So pizza and paper planes is one. Yep. We'll definitely do another camp. That might be on school grounds, or it might be, another place that's relatively local. Yep. But we're doing state of origin. We always do state of origin. So we're doing state of origin father figure drinks this term. And we generally have, kind of one social event per term, regardless, intermixed with other kind of parent-related, kind of shared activities.
Beautiful.
But I'm putting together the schedule with the school, hopefully on Monday.
Oh, nice. Excellent. That sounds like a great year ahead. Now, you are quite clever at your recruitment drive and getting new dads. Can you tell us about that? Because I love this story and love what you do here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I went from, turning up to the first couple of dads events that I went to, and there were 5 people there. Yeah. And so when I took over as dads coordinator, I thought, right, it's time to aggressively market this stuff. So our school has what we call Arvo on the Oval, which is a Saturday or Sunday about term 3 or term 4 that's run by the P&C, where we invite, all the new kindy people along. And so what happens then is, you see the parents and the kids, and they're standing in the playground not knowing anyone. And myself and one of my helpers, we aggressively market the fathering project and the dads group. And we go up and we just start talking to them about stuff and about, how long you've been with the school. And sometimes it's embarrassing because you get the people that they're like, oh, I got kids in year 6. You not know me. Like, well, never seen you before, mate. But
exactly.
Could I get your email address? So it's all about getting the email address. And it's because then they go on my mailing list, which means that I can effectively communicate with them through the year. But it's also about putting a face to a name, because I've found that dads are pretty poor at going to events if they don't know anyone. There's some people that will, but most people won't.
Yep.
But if they know me and they know that I'm Tom, and they know, a mate of mine, Strawn, who comes around, then they walk into Sporties, our local place where we hang out, and they see me. And they know, or they see me up at the shops, or they see me picking up the kids at school from time to time. So it's all about establishing that person-to-person contact, that they know someone that when they turn up to an event, and when they turn up to an event, name tags and a big welcome, and you grab them and you're like, this is James, he's from Kindy. Sit down at this table, mate, and start talking to these guys. They've got kids in year 3, 4, 5, and 6, and if you've made those introductions to people, it's a pretty friendly environment to be in.
Yep.
Rather than just kind of expecting people to do it all themselves.
Yep.
And so we would typically sign up. I'd probably sign up 20 to 30 at every year. And my mailing list now is, I've got about 170 dads on there. For a school, I think we've got about 520 kids.
Wow. Wow, you're really almost touching every family there, because I mean, really, for 500 kids and probably about 300 families, maybe something like that. So that's
and we typically get to our dad's events. We get probably between 20 and probably 60 people coming along.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Is typically the turnout that we get, depending on the weather. And if it's rainy, you always get less. But if it's a beautiful afternoon for barefoot bowls, then I can guarantee you get a lot more coming out.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Can I ask actually how you fund it? Do you invite the dads to just contribute as they go? Is that a culture you've built now?
Well, actually, so we have funded it through the P&C has provided the funding. Our P&C raises, probably close to 100 grand every year anyway, through different parent, we have parent nights and auctions and things like that. So we're reasonably okay. So the fathering project wasn't an issue, but actually this year the school has paid for it. So that's a good step, because the school wants to become involved.
Yep.
And in terms of other, kind of fundraising, my thoughts on barbecues and things like that is, it's a hassle to get people to commit up front and pay up front. And I've actually given up trying to get people to pay up front for events, through flexi schools. It's just too hard.
Yeah.
I'd rather say, we have a jar there. If we're cooking sausages, you throw in for the sausage. So Mother's Day and Father's Day barbecues, the P&C kind of bankrolls it, and we always find people are giving you a $5 or $20, we never end up coming out with a loss from those barbecue events.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that's a great system. And I know when I interviewed Craig from another school, same thing, just taking the punt on the night, trusting that we're going to do it, but also building that culture. So then dads know when I turn up that, if I bring $5 with me, that's going to be.
And I think you also, from my perspective, you want to start with low cost activities. You don't want to have things that people feel pressure that they need to contribute. There's enough of those things around the school, with kids' fees and things like that. I think, being able to do a sausage and, a sausage for your kids, they're having too much fun on the night. They don't really care if you got salad.
That's right.
Bread roll and a sausage is good enough for everyone for a night.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we just want simplicity. That's the thing for dads. I think that's the key, because it's about creating memories, not creating a culinary experience. It's getting out there and having that memory and that time together, really intentional time. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Beautiful, Tom. That's brilliant. I've taken heaps of your time. I appreciate everything you're not only doing in the school. That's awesome. But thanks for sharing so much. That there's so many dads group leaders will get so much out of what you shared tonight. So thanks so much, mate.
No, that's cool, John. As I said, I'm pretty happy to be involved with you guys. I think, you've helped me personally in the relationship that I've got, kind of with my kids and the way that I approach things. And so I think if we can get, more dads, I just say the reason for being involved in Father Project is just so we can be a little bit better dad than the dad that we are. Yeah, and that's all the message that I tell our dads. It's just that little bit better, guys. That's all you need to be.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. That's really, really great. Great to hear from someone outside the organisation that's just as passionate. So thanks, mate.